Let's find our destiny.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Newer Paranormal Podcast. We have Robert and Mary Murphy here tonight from Elite's Paranormal Society. They design equipment for us to use in the fields, and they do a lot of investigations of their own, including live investigations, so that the audience can be more involved. And do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hey guys, again, I'm Robert. This is Marie, my wife.
Hey
We're Elite
guys.
Paranormal Society. We also have, as you just said, a company, 24 Elite. We build equipment for those that are looking to investigate the paranormal field. We have our own team, obviously, where we do investigations, more so dealing with more.
I'm just sharing out, sorry.
Yeah, I was just sharing out.
We're based in Falling Waters, West Virginia.
Oop, we got you. So your website for your equipment is eliteparanormalstore.com, and it goes into like an Etsy store. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do either way. We have 24elite.etsy.com as well, just to go straight to. We actually started up the store and nobody was ordering anything through the store, so we had to forward that to the Etsy page. It's a Murphy
Thank
thing.
you, GoDaddy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Murphy's
so
Law.
you went what?
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law, yeah.
It is, actually. That's it.
We've only been married not for too long, and she's learning very well just how real Murphy's Law is.
It is. Oh, yeah.
She's like, I don't know about this Murphy thing.
I love it.
So why don't you
Isn't that
talk?
the one?
Go ahead.
Isn't that the one where anything can go wrong, everything will go wrong?
If it can
If
go
it can
wrong,
go wrong, it will
will.
go wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Now we talk about having issues as far as computer. Everything could be running perfectly fine. You get set up, you get ready to go. The last live we did, actually, I was talking about it, and I was like, and I'm scared to even do it now. But we were at a location. I was like, just like that, everything went out, and
Yeah.
sure enough, just on command, it just everything goes dead. So, it's you guys have been there. You know how things can go.
Oh yeah.
We are.
Especially with live TV or live shows. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No matter how much you prepare. The so you talked about your store. Can you? I've seen some of your equipment firsthand investigating at Lake Shawnee, and you had your spirit bell there,
Yes.
but you make. Well, I'd like you to describe the spirit bell because I like the way it's designed, and the way it works. But also like some of your other equipment, because you're very creative in some of the items that you create, and then of course some are more classic with a little spin and twist. But if you could talk a little bit about your equipment and especially the spirit bell, that's new, one of your new ones.
Yeah. For equipment, I started about 3 years ago. Marie started with me just a year after that. So we've been building together 3 and 2 years. But the idea was to come up, being in the field, there's things that we want. And at the same time, of course, there's a lot of the equipment costs an arm and a leg. And the last thing we want to do is have so much crazy equipment. The idea is to give more people a chance to go ahead and have that interaction. And everybody has to learn equipment, every piece of equipment, including ours. You got to learn it so you know the pros and cons, because things can happen and it's not necessarily something paranormal. So the spirit bell itself, go ahead and show that for a second. Yeah, I got to do it. There you go.
It's gonna go off because picking up
All
on
right,
me.
so
There
the spirit bell is extremely sensitive by all means. It's EMF detector, so it's going to detect our energy. It only makes sense if energy can't be destroyed. Spirits would have our same energy, electromagnetic
This
energy.
one's super sensitive.
We want it to have something that would be, again, that would detect something very easily. It doesn't necessarily have to touch it. just like every other EMF detector or whatever, REM pods and everything that's out there, you have the lights and you have the sound. Well, you can cut the sound off. So if you don't want to have that contamination in your recording, just gives you the option. But we wanted to take a step farther with the equipment, because you have weak batteries, things that are electronic, you have to worry about battery issues. How does that affect it working and whatnot? Taking it a step farther, we wanted to have something physical, the bell. For that to ring, something will have to actually manipulate the bell to actually touch it. You can't say it's a RF signal. You can't say that it's a weak battery or something like that. It's something actually pushing it. As long as you don't have cats running around on the counter or where they're at.
We've actually had it happen here and at another location.
There's 4 locations happened at so far that we've had, 2 of which we've experienced, where the bell itself is actually rang, which that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that. Go away, cat. You're looking for that more credible evidence. So that's what this really came about. As far as the idea behind the bell itself, ideas come to us from different people. We were a vendor at a show, and a young lady came by and said, "Well, I've never thought about bells, because we use a lot of equipment." The lantern, same idea. Utilizing a lantern for something that somebody on the other side could recognize. If they get close to it or they touch it, they can set it off.
Most of our stuff is trigger objects, so things spirits are familiar with. And we do a lot with the children's spirits. Well, you see all the little toys back here? Because a lot of times we encountered a lot of the children's spirits.
Native American. What do you have as far as for a trigger object for Native American? A friend of ours that's Native American online, he hit me up and he's like, "Hey, can you make something?" So I was like, again, the only thing coming to mind is hatchets, and the last thing I'm going to do is be running around with a hatchet to somebody's location. He's like, "Well, how about like a little tom-tom?" Which was a great idea. So our drums we've got where if something gets close to it, the drum will light up. So it's in all of our equipment. Can you pass me that right there? Even like this is a trigger tray. So you can put whatever you want in the tray itself. Cookies, candy, whatever, coins, poker chips, cards, whatever you can put in there.
I think one location we did cigarettes.
Yeah.
And if something goes to reach towards it, it's going to set the lights off. So that one's something that you could change, interchange whatever you want to have as far as for a trigger object. It's things that we would use in the field that just make sense for what we're looking for. And again, like all equipment, you have to learn the equipment itself, to know the pros and cons, as I said earlier.
Well, one of the main things we do when we investigate, especially if it's a location that hasn't been investigated before, is describe what the equipment does. Can you get close to it and make it light up? But if it's an actual trigger object that they recognize, the first instinct that they might have is to reach for it, which increases the likelihood you'll probably get a result from it, which is pretty cool.
For the bell, is it?
We try to work with a lot of people to get them to understand. You'll see. What's that?
I think we have a little bit of a delay.
Yeah. For the bell, is it more
JD?
sensitive than a desk bell, or?
I think it's more sensitive.
Yeah, the bell's a lot more sensitive than most of the equipment we have. The dolls themselves, we actually utilize, you'll see up in the top corner, there's a doll back behind me. Those are the most sensitive. We have, the idea is to change it up a little bit so you can kind of see. I don't want something to feel like it has to touch. Somebody on the other side doesn't have to touch a piece of equipment. Maybe they're uncomfortable. But if they get close to it, I want to be able to know. In other equipment we have, it would be touched. They would have to touch it to make it go off. But the idea is for anybody, and again, it goes back to the education, is getting people to a point, and we get videos, which is really cool because we're watching something and somebody's using a piece of our equipment. We're like, oh look, we're still excited about it. But you'll see people use flashlights, which we use flashlights. they're not talking about anything, and it just randomly it'll sit there, and then finally it'll go off. And we're trying to get people to understand you want the interaction. It's not like it going off one time. It's wonderful, but is that anything? I always discredit everything that happens one time as a singular. Hey, it just happened at random, whatever. We want to get that second, now the third, and start working from there. And then if you can utilize multiple pieces, whether it's pieces of equipment, you can have somebody who's got a, it's one thing to have somebody with abilities, Irene. You turn around and have somebody with abilities in the room. And this happened. We had a medium on our team for the longest time. And she would say, you know, where the person was. And she'd be like, oh, going to that flashlight or going to whatever piece of equipment. And all of a sudden that piece of equipment starts going off. And then we interact with it as far as ask a question, you know, the yes, no questions. If you're a male or if you're a female, can you touch the bell or something like that? And also coming back to those questions multiple times later on to try to see if if it follows, not just that one time it happens to answer you one way or the other, because then we start leading ourselves in investigations.
Yeah.
See, Robin's on.
Very true.
Hi, Robin.
Hi, Robin.
See Robin.
So for you, what led to the trend? So you have the Elite Paranormal Society, and if you could share a little bit about what inspired you to start that, but then what inspired you to start building equipment, or were you building equipment even before you started Elite Paranormal?
Now, I've had Elite Paranormal for, I guess, almost 2 decades now. It's been around for a long time. I don't have a lot of team. I used to have a very large team. I really only have a few people on now. It's just because we focus more on working with people that are having issues or locations. Originally, when realistically, for me, it got started as a senior in high school. I lived 5 houses up from the high school, so I walked to school. Pretty simple. My mom was very casual, very laid back. Definitely the type of mother you wanted as a as a student, as a kid. But if my friends came by, they would usually wait for me up in my bedroom. And it was nothing. I'd get home and my mom would say, hey, you got a friend up in your room or whatever. And then the best part, the part that really lit the fuse, for a week straight, I come home one night and this is when it started. She says, hey, there's something up in your room. I was like, who is it? She said, it ain't a who, it's a what. And I ain't going up there to find out. Her and my brother was sitting on the couch and wouldn't turn their back on the house at all. They were terrified because of all the noise coming out from up there. I was like, all right, no big deal. I go upstairs and my room was on the 2nd floor. You have the eave of the house that slopes down. So my room was rectangular. I had a dresser on the right-hand side with all my pictures on the wall. My bed was on the left-hand side. For a week straight, including that night, was the start of it. Everything that was on that wall or on that dresser would get thrown into the drywall, the wall over here. So I kept putting stuff up there and I'd come home and sure enough, it'd be into the drywall on the other side.
What did you do to upset it?
I don't know, but I was hoping to be able to see it.
The teenage boy did anything he did would have probably upset
Yeah,
it.
it just for a week straight. I'm not quite sure what set that up. We already knew that we had activity there. And it's wild because even now to this day, like my youngest brother, he's 9.5 years behind me and cannot talk about ghosts or anything around him. I mean, he will absolutely, no, he won't have any part to do with it whatsoever. Because again, not everybody enjoys the field. You know, when you see things happen, you grow up in a house that has a lot of activity, not everybody's happy with it.
No.
I was, he was not.
I wasn't happy with it when I was living in a haunted house. I mean, a real haunted house.
So that got me into the idea as I got a little older to go ahead and start up and honestly, it was because of the TV shows. There's 3 main TV shows that started out. And after the first couple of years, it took the stigma off the field quite a bit to where we could start investigating without people losing their mind, you know, that we're doing all the devil worshiping and everything.
Right.
So building, we've only been building for, like I said, for 3 years. And I wanted, there was something I wanted to create that was different. I don't actually do. Yeah. I wanted, because so many people, and we were doing the same thing. We had a lot of live shows. I wanted something that had more of a visual that people could see. not trying, it's loud, so I'm not trying to go off too long. But you can see just how much of a visual aid that is. So instead of people all gathering around trying to look over some little box that's got a couple of lights flashing back and forth, it's easier for them to see this, which was a motion sensor. And this is the first thing I created, was to have a motion sensor and have something that you can have, rather you use it vertical, or you put it like at the bottom of the stairs and cover stairs, you know, to get more coverage going up. So you could use it horizontally as well. Same time, couldn't go outside and use equipment when there was a light rain or anything. So I went ahead and covered it, coated it so that you can actually use it in the rain, unless it's a crazy downpour. Other than that, it will actually still be just as effective. But I didn't know how to wire it. And thank God my oldest son, yeah, he's like a little MacGyver and he can create anything. So he's like, just tell me what you want to create. So once he told me how to do the wiring schematics, I could go ahead and transfer that to pretty much anything.
Yeah, thank God for Kevin, because he's like a genius.
Yeah, he is.
He really is.
So that got us into building. And again, the idea was before 3 years ago, I couldn't see myself ever building anything. But the prices were so crazy. So we built a lot of stuff. Most of our stuff is, you know, it's about $100 for quite a bit of our stuff.
Which is cheap compared to a lot of the stuff that's out here.
Yeah.
That's like $300.
Right. It's reasonable, but it's also quality of equipment. It works. It's, you know, it's sensitive enough, but not too sensitive. And it's created with care. So, I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that.
To piggyback off of that, REM used to be more than just touch sensitive. Like, that's what everybody's designing these REM pods as nowadays. It used to be temperature.
Yeah.
A lot of different variables to set the equipment off.
Okay, so
to me, I want to have something that most of the people out there keep it simple. So yeah.
No, go ahead. We're experiencing a little bit of a delay. No, continue your thought.
No, it was so that have something that's easy enough to operate, that people could learn well enough so that they can be efficient using it. So it's not too often you watch something and most viewers can go, well, what about, you know, is that what's really setting it off? Is it this or is it that? And you want people to be able to show it even when they're live, go through the process.
And some of this equipment, like the newer stuff, it's really complicated. It's like you have to read a whole manual to know how to operate it. Our stuff is pretty simple. Turn it on and you wait for something.
Creatively, the lantern and the bell, unique, different.
To light it up.
Yeah.
Were you guys at the Warrens Con 2 years ago? The last one?
Where at?
What is that?
Were you guys in Gettysburg at the Warrens Con 2 years ago?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That was actually, that's where the young lady came by. She lives in Frederick. She turns around and came by and asked about the bell. And every time somebody has an idea like that, I send her the first one that I built. Once I got it working, I send her one. So
I guess we miss Nick. Hi, Nick. I don't know who else was on. I just seen that one.
I thought they looked familiar, and their equipment looked familiar.
Okay, so do you want to? I don't know if you want to. I know you usually ask JD. Was there something that like led to you going into the paranormal? Did we talked about Robert, but Marie, is there something that led to you? Was it, okay.
I've had experiences my entire life with spirits, and I lived in the actual haunted house. And I guess the most I don't know what you would say, traumatic thing that happened to me was I had a lady spirit come lay next to me when I was asleep one night, home alone, next to me on my bed. So that freaked me out. That was before I really that was terrified. But that's actually how I met Rob. because even after I moved away from that particular house, this lady was like drawing me back there because I feel like she needed help. So that's how I met Rob. Which is kind of neat.
Yes.
Aw. Another paranormal couple brought together through the paranormal.
Yep.
What was your first device that you made, piece of equipment that you made, and what made you decide to make it?
First equipment?
Yes.
What was that?
I didn't hear what he said.
What was the question? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
JD.
Device you made.
It's like a lag device.
Yeah, we're gonna.
It's
We
laggy.
got a
I'm
lag
sorry.
going.
It's okay. What's the first device you created? He's asking.
Did you ask what the first one was?
Somebody. Oh, the first device was the stick that we were just showing, the
Yeah.
big stick.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first one that we started with.
Then we started getting people started copying us right after that.
As soon as it came out.
As soon as we came out with it.
We're doing motion sensors and again the EMF detectors. You know, that's really the two fields that we've been working with the most. And we had like sentries. Everybody had several people, different whatever people in different areas. They wanted us to make like the tripwire, which people already made the tripwire. Why am I going to make another one? You know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we would actually brainstorm as we're going down the road. We were coming back from one of the vendor shows, and at that show, people were saying, "Hey, why don't you make a tripwire?" And I'm like, "Somebody's already made the tripwire, for God's sakes. Why am I going to copy theirs? That doesn't make any sense. Use theirs." But we wanted to come up with a different type of device, which was the sentries, which were small boxes with a motion sensor on it, and you could set them on their side. But they were very lightweight. You could use blue tape and just stick them onto a wall if you wanted to. So if you put a couple of them in an area like a hallway, you could actually see. In the very first ones we built just had lights.
I think we're sold out of those.
Yeah, we are. we just wanted something that would get your attention so you know it would go off, but we didn't want to have a bunch of sound to go ahead and possibly intimidate somebody, you know, a spirit or anything else.
Yeah.
But if you put a couple of them down a hallway, you could actually see movement where all of a sudden the first one goes off and then the next one goes off and then the next one, or you could put them over top of doorways or anything like that.
That's fun. I like that. Especially you don't just have you're not limited by the distance of the device. So you would actually have, like, if you're in a large location, you could spread them out and actually see movement across a much larger surface than just the limit of the tripwire. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the motion sensors that we're using were good for 20 feet.
Okay.
So that would give you an idea. Again, it's like any other equipment. Learn to use what's going to trip off at an angle.
Yeah.
All the motion sensors go out. You want to make sure somebody's not accidentally tripping it themselves. You want it to be, you know, you don't want a false positive.
Right.
I'm always curious what the range was.
Ours were 20 feet. I did some live. Our pool was 18 and a half feet. So I'd set them on the other side of the pool, all around the pool, and start to walk around them, and you'd be able to see how quick they trip off, which was motion sensors. If you walk towards them, they're less sensitive than as you walk across their plane.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. So, all right, we've talked about the equipment. We've talked about Elite Paranormal Society. Before we kind of get into like some more personal or, you know, like questions, I want to ask about, so you've written 3 books. Can you talk, Robert, can you talk a little bit about your 3 books that are out there?
Yeah, the first one I wrote was investigating the paranormal, explaining the paranormal, spirits, dealing with this. That's really our focus, not UFOs and cryptoids and everything else. So I just wanted to kind of break it down because there's so much information out there. Everybody's like, you know, what does anything mean? Because there's 3 or 4 different definitions for everything. So I just broke everything energies that are out there, just a general one for more so for knowledge. The second one dealt with also, it was more detailed, and it was also about treating locations and or people, because I just want that information again to be out there. What people do with it, more power to them. But I want the knowledge to what's worked for me. I'm not saying mine is the only way, but what's worked, I want to have it out there. So if somebody, and then the third book that I wrote a year and a half ago, I believe 2 years ago, that was about my true experiences. That one's a trip.
Yes, it is.
Because it's not just about me. I had a very, very good medium. So it talks about her and what it's different perspectives that we don't think of. For somebody like yourself, Irene, that has abilities, I don't see things the same way you do. You know, the very first time I had a medium on my team, it was, you know, I was like, for Christmas, I had an artist drawing what she saw. Wonderful. To me, it was. I mean, they were like, she either had the most craziest imagination or whatever. So I would turn around and I have all these cups and blankets and stuff made up with all these whatever figures on them. And she's like, I live it already. Why do I have to see it on a cup? You know, I didn't take it the same way she did.
Yeah, it happens. It does.
Really laggy.
Yeah, there's a bit of a lag, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. But yeah, like as mediums, people don't see, yeah, that we see things a little bit different, or when we walk into a space, the expectation for the medium versus the expectation of the investigator, and like the stress put on that medium in that space, and the exhaustion that can happen as a result of walking through the space. Like having that understanding of the two worlds, like, you know, I've talked about that in talks in the past. It's important, and it's good that you acknowledge that and you see that as well. Like the way we see the world is a little different, and you know, but it's just different. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's just different.
I wonder if the lagging
it's
is
an
due to
avenue that's
people
not.
trying to-
There's not enough to talk about. There's a lot that can be to the table from people that have, between combining people with abilities as well as utilizing people that truly have, whether equipment, old school equipment, whatever. I mean, a ping pong ball can be just as effective. I mean, if you use a ping pong ball, it's inside, no air blowing around, and that starts moving around, stopping and rolling different. So having, like, for us, for my medium, the best part was so often we did a lot of them live, and so often I would be able to validate exactly what she had.
That's awesome.
She would get information about a location before we go there, I would have her go ahead and text it to me, even though I'm standing right next to her. She would text it. So now it's time stamped and date stamped. So when I get there and I can go to the client and go here, and the client knows what they've told me, and they're going, how does she know about this? And then if we capture that type of either the names, or we capture, like, multiple times, she'll be like, Rob, there's a little boy here, or there's a little girl here. And people that go back and watch our videos, you know, from the live, they'll go ahead and review it. Because while we're live, we're not, you know, I'll role play like somebody's there, but I don't know that they're there. I just have to assume they are. But then you go back and listen, and you hear the voice of them talking, the little kids or whoever talking, and I'll be asking a question, they'll be answering me, and it's like, and after a while, you're like, man, that's just, you can watch it, but you tell me how we've got this voice on there, and you know there's no kids there.
I love EVPs.
Yeah,
I love them.
Oh yeah. I love EVPs too.
So speaking about the live videos, what got you into that, and what do you involve with it that makes it unique, different?
Because I call it cookie cutter. I mean, yeah, I'm not knocking the first shows that came out. It was great that they came out, and the first couple of years was wonderful before Hollywood really got involved in them. And to me, they went sideways. I liked the truth that was in them. I mean, because there was times when, you know, one of the most popular ones, they would sit there and say, look, we can't really tell you if this place is haunted or not. We don't have enough. And I thought that was the truest sense, you know, it's something real like that. I don't think you have to make somebody look like they're an idiot or a fall guy or something like that. Just show. I wanted people to be able to see reality. We start using flashlights, and there's people love to debunk, and I love for people to debunk, but people just get on, they ride everybody's coattails, and I call it parroting. They just want to repeat what they've heard. They haven't tried it. Flashlights, everybody goes, well, they heat up. Yeah, LEDs don't really heat up. If it's 4 degrees outside in the snow and they're working just perfectly fine, and when I say work, I'm looking like for flashlights, I'm looking for a 10-second response. That's just my window. I'm looking for something that's very tight. I'll put out between 3 and 6 flashlights. And there's times there's nothing going to happen. There's other times that they're going to happen on command. And when on command, again, it's about 10 seconds. If it goes 11, okay. Forget the first time, forget the second time. But if I have 6 flashlights out and I say, okay, can you turn a flashlight on if you're here? And it happens to come on within 10 seconds. Again, that's just one time. It doesn't mean anything to me. The second time you start to get my attention. The third time, especially when I go, okay, if you're really here, turn 2 flashlights on.
Yeah.
And people have watched this live all the time. The idea of doing it live and doing the live shows was not to be a cookie cutter, not to go and investigate the same way everybody else does. Then when people, it's interactive. So somebody says, well, where's the remote to the flashlight? So I would pick the flashlight up. I would take it apart, look through it, put it back together and say, let's see if it works again. And it starts working again. You tell me where the remote is. To be able to do that so people could actually ask the questions that they have, they're watching a show they can't tell because they know things are going to be, it's TV, it's shows, and judge for themselves. I'm not out trying to opportunity to go ahead and decide for themselves what's real.
And it's neat when you're actually live, like when we were on TikTok live at the Wildwood, and the child spirit that was there, like pulled my shirt.
Expression on her face. She's just like, oh, it's pulling my shirt. She was stunned, but it's like, okay, move away from the counter because I want to make sure nobody can say that the counter's doing anything. She moves away, and then yet you could still see her shirt getting pulled behind her. And it's like her hands are in front of her.
And we're using multiple equipment. So we're using our own equipment. We're using flashlights. We have the cat box, and we're getting responses out of all the equipment on top of getting my shirt, pulled. It was pretty neat.
So giving people the chance to go ahead and ask the questions that they really want to ask for a real investigation.
We get lucky though.
Yeah.
We get activity when we're together. For some reason.
We had a great experience where our flashlight wasn't even on. And so I know they're controversial, but if you use them properly and in the right way, you can really get a response out of them. But we had a great experience where it wasn't even on. It wasn't unscrewed, nothing. It was just sitting, and we got it to turn on, which was like for me, and caught it on camera, multiple cameras, was amazing. So I'll never completely discount the flashlight method, because just having that personal experience, it's crazy.
Yeah, like I say, with flashlights, it gets to a point where sit there and say, it's the chance, honest mathematics. That's really where science repeating a process. If I have 6 flashlights and I say, okay, tell you what, give me the grand slam, turn everything on, and everything goes on.
Yeah.
What's the chances? Eventually, you got to get to a point where you go, hold on. Now, again, I like to debunk things and I like to do it live. So at one point, I had my team, we do the EPS Paratalks, and I had some of my members on the team a few years ago. I had them take flashlights. So they took 2 and put them in ice to chill. Put 2 more in a heating blanket, because remember, everybody says they heat up, so the metal expands and yada, yada, whatever. And then put 2 on the table. Which ones came on? Not the ones in the heating blanket. The ones in the ice, because the ice will chill, create those little condensation inside, which was just enough to go ahead and light it up. It wasn't even coming on because it was something interacting with it. It was the condensation. And again, it's a learning thing, but we do it live, doing a video like that live in front. So people, again, they're watching it happen, and they got this, you can do the temperature and see what the heat is already up to. But then people want to sit there and still kind of just hang on what they've been told or what they heard instead of trying it for themselves. Try things for yourself.
Which is important. And, you know, and to take that care, that I love that. That's what I love about, you know, how you guys work is that's truly a scientific approach. You had 3 different experiments set up. You were testing it in different environments to try and see if you could prove or disprove a theory that came previously. And repetitive tests. So doing something more than once gives you the result more than once. It's more undeniable than, you know, just getting one random thing lighting up. Like that's not something that, you know, somebody can look at and say, oh yeah, that definitely happened. So that's pretty cool.
The cat balls are extremely popular. You see them everywhere. Cat ball goes off, wonderful. And it goes off a few times. That's wonderful. But how often do you replace the cat ball with that? So you can't say that it's the battery or something else. Does it follow the cat ball? Does the new cat ball in the same spot start lighting up? We put flashlights in jars to see whether or not they could go through the glass, easy enough to manipulate them, whatever. Again, just thinking a little bit more outside the box and trying things. Why not?
Totally. I mean, we have to. I mean, things are getting a little bit more, you know, I feel like we're starting to see an evolution of like equipment and approaches, you know, kind of in like 2 different directions. One is a really, you know, over exaggerated direction, but one is a more, you know, let's help the paranormal world evolve a little bit. And I feel like that, like this type of approach is the way we should all be approaching it, trying to see if we can figure out ways to evolve and change things.
With the field, you got, you know, people want to kind of, some people want to keep their stuff to themselves and they don't want to show. The more credible evidence that goes out there, the more credible the field becomes. So why wouldn't you want others to have credible evidence? If we were the only ones to get what we thought credible evidence, people are just going to go, okay, yeah, how do we know they're not, you know, some con artist or something like that? Whereas if you have multiple and more people are seeing it and they're looking at it from different perspectives and going, yeah, I can't explain that.
Exactly.
People definitely stick to shared beliefs, though. That's common throughout humanity. So, take some of us to step out of the box to really think of new direction. Research.
Right. If people didn't step out of the box, then we wouldn't have had some of the answers we have.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Have you guys used the SB7?
No.
Yes.
So we know it's not something that gets broadcast out. You ever use a whiteboard with it? Write whatever on the whiteboard. Of course, we're usually in the dark, so we show it in the dark and listen to it come out through whatever's on that whiteboard without saying it, come out. Again, now tell me how you're going to debunk that.
I don't know. Some people are so afraid, though, that they're not going to believe. I don't care what you can have any type of credible evidence. They're just going to be like, no, it's not real. Just because they don't want to believe it because they're scared.
Yeah. That's the difference between the skeptic and the denier. That's where we have to find that happy, you know, that medium. No pun intended. So, actually, that's something that it's one of the questions that I have is, what's something you wish people understood better about the paranormal, in terms of what we do, and especially the people that are the deniers out there, or, you know, people that are maybe coming into the field, or skeptics?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of false information out there. Number one, not everything is obviously doom and gloom negativity. There's so much positivity out there. It's amazing. It is. It truly is. For anybody coming into the field, number one, just like any field, there are fakes out there. Absolutely. You know, why deny it? We know it. We can look at things. No different than people with abilities. You know, you don't have to sit there and say you have abilities. And it's usually the people that don't say they have abilities that are phenomenal. And the amount of closure that people with abilities have brought to so many others has been beyond phenomenal. especially even those that are skeptic and they're like, no. How many times have you had somebody walk away crying because they gave you that personal information to give to that client, and all of a sudden they're walking away in tears? And it's like, for people in the field, we spend so much time in there, and we don't charge. I get, people spending their time and everything should get reimbursed, but this is one field where, like I said, we definitely work with people or locations that are having issues. We don't charge anything for it, and most people don't charge for that type of activity, for trying to help somebody out. It's the one field where there's more people that are willing to try to help Joe Public. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter about your skin color, your race, your religion, or anything else. It really doesn't matter. Other people are out there trying to help, and I think that's more significant than anything else you can put together. I'd probably warn them about the drama too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Paranormal soap operas are crazy. God knows we've been caught up in so many.
Right. Exactly. But you bring up something else that that you do. So you do home investigations. You do them for free. Can you share with people what how they can connect with you for something like that, and how you approach doing a home investigation, and things that you do focus on, because you have a little bit of a focus that's a little different than just going and investigating too, like in that negative sense.
Yeah, I started out my team for the longest time. We did like everybody else, doing the investigations, and that's what people really have to understand. There's different type of people that are out there that, there's plenty of people that will document what's happening. There's even a bigger niche that's out there that are the thrill seekers. But the problem is, as soon as that door slams, those thrill seekers are slamming a door behind them as they leave the client, going, what? As they leave the location, which is horrible. People need to know, first of all, what do you ask? If they're looking for help, they need to know, what are they looking for? Are they looking to document it, which a lot of teams do, which is fantastic. And again, everybody, I'm not knocking the thrill seekers, but just don't try to say that you're going to help a family or help somebody and then bolt as soon as something happens. For us, again, we are dealing with more people that are having a real situation, and we can I've gone through enough where you can kind of figure out who really sounds like they really have something going on. And it's just giving them time to go ahead and talk and see, really, especially if there's children involved, those go a lot faster. They can reach us anywhere, as far as on our page, our Elite Paranormal Society page. They can certainly reach us there. Message. My phone number is connected to pretty much everything on there, which is my cell, so that we can help people out. Again, there are people that will absolutely help, and people have to quit worrying about, and I know a lot of people hesitate asking for help because they're so worried about being judged, but we're the ones that are investigating and sitting in the dark talking to ourselves, so what are you guys worried? Why should they worry? But everybody needs to know, and I'm a true believer of this, because what we've done has been extremely effective. There's absolutely I believe there's every situation can be resolved, so that people need to understand. And again, they have to be educated while it's being resolved. You have to educate for them not to do, to open doors back up.
Right. Yeah. And that.
That makes a lot of sense. And you bring up a good point of people, they walk out the door and there's no resolution for these families. The whole point of going to a home investigation is to try and find some kind of resolution for them, some kind of answer for them, or some kind of help for them. So that's a really important point to bring up, and that's appreciated.
I still really haven't done a private investigation. Is there recommendations that you guys would have for how to approach that, as opposed to just a general investigation?
If you're going to do a private investigation, you got to be straight up. Obviously, what your intent is, just no different than the client's intent. You need to know, what is their expectation. Too, if you're just going there to document, that's wonderful. A lot of people will that do that will actually send the people away from the house. Why are you going to send the people away from the house? They're the ones that are having the experiences. You would want to keep things as consistent as possible, keep the environment the same. I don't want them to change the environment. Besides, when somebody contacts you, that you're already investigating, you're already doing your research as far as for trying to figure out what's going on with them. And if you simply let, if JD, you're calling me, you're the client, you're somebody reaching out and you're calling me and I start to talk to you. If I just let you spill out your whole story, that's going to be half the people that do that they're going to be playing with you. They're going to be trying to go ahead and just get the attention. But if I ask you questions and kind of keep you off balance, I'm going to find out more legitimate information from you. And that's just a simple way that you learn to kind of start to read people a lot better that way. And somebody, if you have to keep reaching out to them, they're not reaching out to you, do they really want help? Because not everybody that reaches out that says they want help truly want help. Not every person that has an attachment or has something going on with them really want to get rid of it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of people doing like social media, we thought it was a legit case, and come to find out they just wanted to record everything on their line that we were doing for attention, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
So.
you find out you got 8 people sitting there watching. What all y'all doing with your phone? I thought y'all were, I mean, if they're scared, there should be certain signs that they're scared. But again, where our child, our 2-year-old is using these crazy words that they shouldn't be using, demonic and all this other stuff. And you get there and they're watching The Exorcist, and they got the best VCR tapes up there with all the great shows on it. And it's like, I got an idea why this child is saying what they're saying, because, but the client, I mean, they act like they're just, the really cool part, JD, is it's not always the clients themselves that are also the targets. A lot of times it's the animals as well. So the cool part is an animal ain't going to trick you. A dog or a cat doesn't trick you. And I know everybody, and I hate to put it in a bad way, but I know everybody believes that cats, because they're in Egypt and they see everything, that cats can protect you. Cats are a warning sign for one of the very negative energies. Unfortunately, they can't stop it from happening because they get attacked. Dogs are another thing. We had this huge pit bull at a location that wasn't in the cage. The cage wasn't shut. I kind of wish the cage was shut, because I'm thinking this thing's going to eat me anytime, because it was a huge pit bull by all means. I don't know what this dog is, but it was terrified. They have to drag it out of the kennel. It would usually sleep in at night. They would have to drag. So it's one thing for the family. You have the family, and we trip ourselves out more than anything. So, you kind of, but now here's this dog that's extremely worried, upset, stressed, whatever. So when I'm treating a house, I also treat the animals. If I'm going through and they have an animal like that, I'll treat the animal as well. And in this case, the very next day, that dog was lounging. They started sending me pictures. It's lounging all over the couch. It doesn't care. That's the better thermometer for you to know if things went well during that or not. And it's one thing to push a negative energy or something off to the side if there's something actually there, but then it usually comes back as soon as whatever's done, it goes away. Whereas if you do it right, the dog's going to be very casual and being like, okay, this is cool. Humans tend to take a little bit longer to calm down, because they go online, they read everything, get out, run, hurry, whatever. And it's like, for the love of God, everything's not horrible. Just because somebody talks in a deep voice, get out, doesn't mean it's really that bad.
Right. Nope. They're there. So first I want to mention too that we're working on a project together called Speaking for the Silent. I don't know if you want to talk about it or a little bit or share.
Yes, it's actually Jacqueline's project. I love the idea of it. And again, it's unsolved cases utilizing mediums as well, people with abilities, psychics, mediums, either or, utilizing people with abilities, with gifts, to help try to go ahead and bring closure to families that have not been resolved. It could be a missing person. It could be somebody who maybe they were found and it was a homicide that was not solved. And I think that is the most noble cause to bring closure to a family. And we're just getting started up. Obviously, you're one of the two people that have a lot of weight on your shoulders on that. Which
little.
again, unfortunately, it really puts people with abilities in a bad spot because it's like putting expectations out there, which we really can't for people. But it's when you see people that are truly gifted in the information they come up with, and then there's actual detective work that's being done.
There's a lot of legwork
with this, and it's amazing to see these cases come together.
Yeah, Jacqueline on her end has to do a lot of legwork to try and figure these cases out and investigate them and communicate with people. So, it's something that a passion project to be involved in for sure, and where we feel like we can maybe help in the best way possible, and hopefully do more helping than harming in any way, as with anything.
Right.
So that we don't have it's actually in production and being and all the legwork is being done right now, but hopefully you'll see that soon, premiering in the future, and look forward to working with all of you on the project. It's exciting. All right, so what's next for you and Elite Paranormal, other than speaking for the silent? What's coming up? Any new? Well, you might not want to share some of the new equipment that's coming up, but an idea is new equipment. Are you going to be at events in the future or anything like that?
We got vendors coming up.
Yeah, we've got a few vendor shows coming up, including Penhurst. So I'm hopeful that it'll get here before, because they've got some.
I'm real sad about Penhurst.
Questionable future for Penhurst. So we're hoping it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed, things don't don't change. We want to keep it the same. So, but Penhurst is really I think that's the first one that we really have right now scheduled. Yeah. We just have a lot going on right now. We bought a house because the people were too scared to be in it. So we're like,
was active when we first bought the house. Now not so much. It was Rob's fault.
Uh-oh.
So
why is it Rob?
We're working on a house in PA because it was crazy.
Scared of Rob.
I use deodorant. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, it's like, what the hell? We got this house again. The owners would not go back into the house. They were absolutely terrified of the house. So we got this house. We're like, hey, yeah, we'll go ahead and buy it, and it'll be great. We were up there with another couple, and they definitely got a firsthand taste for it, especially the gentleman. It owned him the first time.
We don't want to give everything away, the background on it, because we're going to have an open house where we're going to try to have everybody that can come to, to the Boulder House, experience it. But so we don't want to give out all the background on it.
See what you guys pick up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
totally.
The EVPs alone, you couldn't go 30 seconds without hearing things.
They're crazy.
Just the amount of sound and things that we have caught already just being there. Now that I'm working there, but
this is what happens. Negative, especially with negative energies around. It's intimidated by Rob. They are. I've seen it so many times. So I blame it on Rob that it's not interacting anymore. It's scared of
our daughter and Marie came up. They were going to spend the night there. And the next morning she's like, did you cleanse this place? I was like, no. That's what I said. Nothing's happening. It sucks.
But I think if he wasn't there, it would come out and play.
Hopefully.
It better.
Either that or we're getting the Ouija board.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my.
Hopefully he didn't leave with the family.
He probably did, actually.
No, it was definitely there, and they haven't been in there in a long time.
Okay, that's good. Good and not good, but in the paranormal world, good.
Yeah.
All right, so
Nice part to be a location where we can have you guys come out and hang out. Have you guys come
Yeah.
out and hang out, stay for the weekend, and then again see what people get, and then we can disclose, what we know for a fact.
Yeah,
What
I want to see
section
what
of
happens when you're
Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
What section of Pennsylvania?
Du Bois. It's a gated community. It's a real nice, beautiful area, Treasure Lake area. It's beautiful.
The amount of activity that's in Pennsylvania is off the chart.
I know. It's just
Yeah,
like
there's a
Ohio.
lot in central PA.
This whole
There's a
area,
high
Ohio to
level
PA
there.
to New York. Yeah. A lot of activity. And until you look deeper and dive deeper, you don't realize how much is actually going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. So you've had a lot of experience. You've done a lot of investigations. I'm not really like a paranormal experience, but how has being in this world impacted your worldview now? How has it changed you? Has it changed you?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Knowing that we and it's in my book as well, as far as experiences, there's so many signs that are around us, and it's amazing how much we're actually influenced, and there's plenty of people are influenced by the other side all the time. They just don't realize it, but we are. It's like so many people say, well, I've never experienced anything, and it's like, yeah, you have. You've seen the thing out of the corner of your eye. You've smelled that floral smell or that smell of smoke that just had no reason to be there. You're out in the middle of nowhere, whatever. You hear somebody talk and you're answering going, what? You just heard something, and yet there's nobody there to make a sound. So to have be more aware of the insight that happens, or the signs that are given to you that you can really see, put the dots together and see what happens, is amazing.
I know for me, it's like more like everything is spiritual now. Like I know that there's life after death, so it's not as scary, and it's like we're spirits in like a human body here instead of the other way around. So it's like, why would you be afraid of a spirit just because it doesn't have a body? I don't know. I guess in my mind is different now, the way I think about it.
That's perfect.
That's beautiful. Makes a lot of sense. All right. So I want to make sure that I want to go back. You mentioned it briefly in the beginning. So you also have EPS Paratalks, so where you jump on and you'll actually chat or have people on too as well. Not just your live investigations, but where you go live and have a podcast format. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and share before, so people know where to find you and watch?
Yeah, we're going to be starting back. We just did one recently. We're going to get back into a regular day. Wanted to wait till football was over because we usually do it. Sundays is when we usually do the EPS Paratalks. And it's a weekly show that we're going to do that we've been doing for years, that it gives anybody an opportunity to give their own opinions about anything. God knows, quit thinking, repeating what somebody else said. Think for yourself. Give your own opinion. You disagree. It's perfectly fine. There needs to be more format to give people the opportunity to go, well, no, I do it this way and I think it worked better. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I can respect the hell out of that. Don't be afraid to go ahead and share what you think works or to help other people, and that's part of networking. The more you can put out. So it's a interactive show that we do, just like our investigations, but it's more interactive. So as soon as somebody asks a question, we can turn right around and they can ask whoever, or ask the group, whoever's on at the time. And then you can hear from real people. They could be just like yourself, people that are newer about figuring out that they're empathic or something. They're not aware of it, and they hear somebody else talking about it, and all of a sudden they're like, oh. Or ideas that we have, when we go to a location, instead of intimidating, sit down. Everybody wants to stand up all the time and be moving around. Sit down, settle down. And especially if you have child spirits, it's more likely they're going to come towards you at that point, rather than just walking around, moving around, or, look intimidating. So we just share information.
That's awesome. So, where can they watch all of this? Can you tell us a little bit about before we go, your social media, all your sites again, things like that, so people can find you?
We have the Elite Paranormal Society. There's a group page. There's a regular team page. My personal page, Robert Murphy. You can certainly go to that, and everything will be posted on that as well. We have our equipment that we sell, which is 24 Elite. That's usually on our Etsy more so than anything. It's 24elite.etsy.com for equipment. People can ask any type of questions. You want a different video? Glad to send you a video of any type of equipment that we have.
The Elite Paranormal store will also just take you directly there to the 24 Elite.
Awesome. And for investigations, they just reach out through the Facebook page. And for any help?
Yeah, my phone number is on the Facebook page. They can simply call me 240-626-7480. Typically, I answer the phone all the time. I get them all the time, whatever hour of the night.
No prank calls, though, please.
Yeah, no, none of those, please.
Yeah, no prank calls.
Oh, my gosh.
But again, somebody
no car warranty calls.
Yes.
Well, we really appreciate having you on. It's been a great night seeing you. Thanks for jumping on during the Super Bowl. And we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame our internet issues on Super Bowl reaction videos. Oh yeah,
There you go.
That's it.
It was an honor for us. We appreciate it very much. Thanks for having us on.
It's been great.
Okay,
Thank
so make sure to stick around for a second after the show. For anybody that hasn't checked out our page yet, it's Nowhere at Paranormal, and make sure to look into the Remnants Project. Also, our intro song is supposed to be Latin rock, so let us know what you think of it. That's right, yeah, that kind of.